Alright, I caved into the pressure and I did buy the second breeding den just for this month. And so, today we are going to be trying to breed for the Harpy dragon. So I know it's only showing up the rust water there, but the Harpy dragon is also available for us to breed. We can check it in the shop. So we need to breed together two dragons that have the fire, wind, and earth elements. And so I have done a few checks on the different combinations here. So the first combination we could use would be the dust and fire dragons, and this combo has 5 different possible outcomes, which seems pretty good. However, then if we check the bee plus earth dragons, which would also work, this only has 4 possible outcomes, really short breeding times as well. But the best combination appears to be the lava plus wind dragons, and you'll see there's only 4 outcomes, and the breeding times are 45 minutes, 2 hours, 30 minutes, and 12 hours. So this is by far the best combination that we can use to actually breed for this Harpy dragon. So let's go and get them out. So, where are you? We have our lava, and we have our wind dragons. So we will breed them and see what we get. So that is an 11-hour and 11-minute breeding time. And so none of these dragons have an 11-hour and 12-minute breeding time. So you might be like, wow, does that mean we got the Harpy on our first try? Well, I don't believe we actually know yet, because the elephant dragon also shares this same breeding time. So at this point, we could have either bred another elephant dragon, or we could have indeed bred the Harpy dragon. We will just have to wait and see. So there are going to be a lot of instances where this happens now, where we have shared breeding times, because there's a lot of new dragons in the shop, especially for fire and earth dragons. So let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that we got our hands on this new baby. So we actually have some pretty cool dragons in our hatchery right now, and I cannot wait to hatch the both of them. But on top of that, there is one thing that I didn't really mention about this update yesterday, but apparently dragons can now do multiple things at once. As in, you can put a dragon into the academy, for example, and you can still use it in a fight at the same time. So we are going to check this right now. So for example, we have our fungus dragon Sally here. Sure, I'll upgrade your shadow ability, whatever, does not matter to me. And so now, if we go and try and take Sally into a regular map fight, we'll see if it lets us, basically. So sure, we'll take on Korloth with him. So there we go. We can actually use Sally in this boss fight while he is training his ability up. So this was a really important change that I didn't really go through in the update video yesterday. But essentially this means that for stuff like the boss challenge, not the boss challenge, the heroes challenge event that we had for the Chevalier dragon recently, that would make events like that a lot easier, because you'd still be able to progress in the event while they are upgrading their abilities. The only problem with this is the fact that if we get more of those, they may expect you to fully upgrade them while the event is going on, because then you basically have no excuse for not doing it, right? But anyway, this also apparently applies to the exploration as well. So say we pop those 2 in, and then, I don't know, we'll pop the coral dragon in as well, and then these dragons should also be able to be chosen in a boss fight, or just a fight in general. So we'll go and search for it. Do we have our coral dragon available? Indeedy, we do. So if you are a newer player, I really do think this is going to help you out quite a lot, because it does mean that you can do everything in the game uninterrupted, basically. So it is a change that I didn't really go through, but it is a very important one. So just be aware that you can pretty much do a ton of different stuff without having to actually give up any time to do it. And the DML Facebook post does actually talk about this because it says, the new update is here, lots of snowflakies, and no more away dragons. Dragons are busy for sure, there are so many things to do. From this update, your dragons can do multiple things at once, although a dragon can't be placed in the same feature, exploring 2 ruins at the same time, for example. They can go to explore and fight simultaneously. Academy also supports multitasking, so any dragons can be put in the academy, even if they are exploring or breeding. And that one is really important, because if you put dragons into breed, they were literally stuck there, which, you know, makes sense, right? But now, you can do all of that. So dragons can be used in fights even if they are exploring, breeding, or attending the academy, and dragons can explore, study, and breed at the same time. So then they just talk about the new dragons that were added, new dragons coming in limited time events, which I like to hear, small fixes including gold collector bugs fixed, an arena elite league milestone bug fix, which I pointed out, thank you for that, and they have a lot more surprises ready in December. So I'm waiting for the cinnamon and snow glow dragons to actually get their release time or release date. I would appreciate that very much, Game Loft, but yeah, it is a really, really good feel-good change. So essentially now, I think there's even less of a reason to not be exploring things, because, I mean, now, you might as well just throw in anything, right? Because, I mean, there's no downside to having dragons go and explore. I mean, obviously, you're going to be better off if you have 3 dragons at the required levels, because then you are guaranteed a reward chest. But the main reason you want to be doing this is because whenever you explore, you do have the chance of actually bringing back gems and, you know, other resources. But let's be honest, the main thing that people care about are the gems here. So, realistically, even for people that have a fully upgraded Kronos like we do, there is a lot of a reason to actually go ahead and just use them. At the moment, we don't really have many more dragons available to pop in, unless we can refresh stuff. Sometimes it can be a little bit expensive to do that, but we do have free rerolls at the moment. But I do highly encourage you to do that. And same thing goes with the Dragon Academy. There's literally no reason to ever have a free academy if you have spare scrolls now. So if you do want to do that, I do recommend doing it as soon as you can, because we don't even have anything really to ascend here. Oh, whatever, we'll pop in this Regal Dragon because he's not doing us any good anyway. But yeah, take all of that into account, just pop everything in, because even if they're exploring or breeding, you could still use them in battles, which means that you can just do everything at once now. It's going to be hard to keep track, I'm going to tell you that right now. Like, do you have any idea how many times I am going to be so confused as to where everything actually is? Way, way too often. I can already see that happening, but hey, I'm a happy girl. I'm a happy girl. It certainly could have just stayed the way that it was, and, you know, it's what I've said before. This update didn't feel like a major update, and it wasn't really, but quite a few pretty important things did change. And again, the UI changes, while they may not seem very impactful, keeping the UI updated and keeping it user-friendly really does have an impact on the players. I mean, just changing it up, even if it's not necessary, will bring in new people that go, oh my god, that looks cool, it's different from before. And then when you bring out stuff like that new breeding den, for example, which I don't think is working on Windows still, which is a shame, because I've been hoping that I can use it a little bit more and showcase the new breeding den still, but no, it seems like it's still too buggy for implementation at the moment. But I do like the new battle screens, I do like the new arena screen, even if it's really spread out. And again, it will help people at least, you know, try and come back to the game for a while. And if everything feels a little bit nicer, looks a little bit sleeker, those people might stay this time. And, you know, we've been talking about that quite a lot recently. Gameloft and, you know, their attempts to almost rectify their relationship with players. I'm not sure if this is a direct effort to do that, but it's certainly one of the things that does help. Like, for people that feel like they've been sort of let down by Gameloft recently by some decisions, just making everything feel better and feel nicer and look a little bit nicer. And this change in particular, you know, being able to battle even though things are breeding and stuff like that, that is a super duper feel good change, and a change that will help progress a lot. Especially for the players that are struggling to unlock stuff like Kronos. So I do think that this update in particular, for that change with the Academy and that, I do think that is tailored a lot more so to the lower level players rather than the higher level players. And I'm happy to hear that, because, you know, a grand majority of the player base of this game is still a low level. Like, I am talking in like the 30s on average, because it's one of those things where, you know, people start playing the game, but they will just quit after not very long. It's just one of those games. I mean, even getting to level 30, if you're really tryharding, takes like a couple of weeks. And, you know, to a lot of people, a couple of weeks spent in a game is a couple of weeks well spent, and they just sort of move on. I don't know, maybe they'll move on to Dragon City after that, but it's always been a thing in games like this. Player retention is really low. It's sort of like jobs where people just move in and out all the time. So you do have to kind of tailor the experience of the game to the players that are coming in, while also satiating the people. Satiating sounds like a weird word to use in that context, but anyway. But while keeping your older players happy. And I will admit that keeping that balance correct, pretty much all game developers struggle with that a lot. But especially in games like DML. Especially in games where, well, let's be honest, you do get a free pass the more money you input into the game. Like, let's not ignore that. That's just the truth. So, you know, I am happy about this update so far. Again, I did say that I had faith this time, and with some of their recent choices, I do have faith that they are doing it in the best interest of the players for right now. Whether that sentiment changes soon or not, we will see. But, you know, don't just moan at Gameloft unless you have a good reason to. Same with any other gaming company, same with any human being. You know, if they're trying their best, don't just, you know, pick apart everything that they do. Because I can't see anything malicious being input into this update in particular, unless they bring out some new crazy event that's, like, undoable or something. I don't know. Could be anything. Speaking of which, that new Winter is Near event, look, I've been trying my best to log in for it, but I just can't be bothered. I'll be honest, I can't be bothered. You see how little I have done still. We're only on tier 4, and there's only 2 days left. I don't know why, I just can't force myself to log in frequently enough, you know? It's like, if there's other stuff to do in a day, it's just like, but can I really be bothered to go ahead and do that? Not really. Well, since I've got Kronos in a few minutes, I am just gonna, you know, wait the 20 seconds for this next collect food, and then I will use Kronos soon on some 6-hour food. So, 3, 2, 1, there we go, we can collect some more food now. Wonderful. So, since this other food's gonna be done in like 30 minutes, we will pop in some 30-minute food, whatever. We'll collect it all at once, then I'll pop Kronos in to do his thing, and that should help us with our breeding dens and everything like that. So, the only other thing left to do is level up dragons, and I don't really have that many low-level dragons left. So, it may be time to start hatching some fire dragons. Yeah, not that I even expect to finish this event off, because I know that the tiers do get tougher. You know, just blame my lack of incentive to want to actually log in and do these quests. I've been doing my enchantment fights more than I've been doing this event, but hey, you know, if you enjoy it, you do you. It's just I already have the candy cane, so I have very little care in the world to actually go ahead and do it. But anyway, for now, thank you for joining me. Best of luck with all of your breeding, all of your event progress, and, you know, start using those academies and those battlies together. So until next time, I will see you then.